Officially out, Musk exits ads. Humiliated, losing on spending and his revolution, lessons for fighting Trump 2.0. Elon Musk, Trump's chainsaw for bureaucracy, is out after a disastrous government stint. Ari Melber dissects Musk's epic failures, bogus spending cuts, tanking Tesla, and a net worth nosedive. This isn't just a Musk exit. It's a playbook on how not to fight or enable Trump.
Elon Musk donated a lot of money. He claimed he would cut a lot of money. And now pretty quickly his time as a big cabinet advising special government employee is over. Musk has made an official departure, posting about it online, thanking Trump, referencing something we have long been tracking, which is how even with all the loopholes and boundary testing, he had a 130-day limit in government. At Politico, they say Musk came in with a chainsaw and went out with a tweet, a nonpartisan publication, knocking him. From the beginning, Musk sowed much confusion in his efforts to impact the Trump agenda, and his so-called efficiency group was not efficient even in the way it made cuts. It has been quite a trip.
I think this is going to be the most transformative presidency perhaps since the founding of the country. It's going to be a revolution.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
We can actually find $1 trillion in savings.
We anticipate savings in FY26 from reduction of waste and fraud by $150 billion.
What do you think of my hat?
I haven't asked the president for anything ever.
And if it comes up, how will you handle it?
Well,
You won't be involved.
yeah, I'll recuse myself.
I love Tesla.
Many false claims there. He did not recuse. They tried to hawk Teslas at the White House, even as the car company, for a range of reasons, saw its stock crash during the same 100-plus days while Musk was doing double duty. He said he would save trillions. Musk's agency, though, was caught misleading the public. He eventually had to downgrade the goals. Musk is from tech. There's a big motto about disruption. And while that might work in a business setting to some degree, especially if you don't care about firing people or well-being, something the government's supposed to care about, but it didn't work very well here.
Regulations basically should be default gone. Default gone, not default there, default gone. And if it turns out that we missed the mark on a regulation, we always add it back in.
Missing a mark on a regulation doesn't work well if you get a financial crisis or deadly emergencies. And the problem for Musk was that the type of cutting he was doing of government programs didn't work. I can show you some examples right here. We'll put this up on the screen. He was, of course, blocked in court, like other Trump efforts, exceeding authority. When people learned over time what he was up to, it was very unpopular. And then Musk, who of course is unelected, found that Republican lawmakers and people working alongside the MAGA agenda were now facing pretty strong protests, partly because of the way he was leading. Here's the hit that Tesla took. Musk's unpopular politics were part of toxifying that brand. SpaceX continued to have its own problems, and while that's part of running a business, there were real questions in multiple companies over whether his sort of part-time government job was distracting him. Most CEOs couldn't get away with that at public companies in the first place. There's the self-dealing we've told you about, efforts to leverage power to make money. And yet this is a key irony. If this were a movie, it might be unbelievable. Despite having the inside track and all the power and overseeing the cabinet meetings, this has been a period where Musk has lost more money than usual. His net worth down by a staggering 50+ billion since the inauguration alone. He has complained about what he has faced, some accountability, some criticism. He's upset that in politics, people will respond to what you do. There's also the issue of scientific advancements and how NASA will work, or education will work, or rural support networks will work when you cut this fast, this indiscriminately. And in response to what is here a provable record, what some call a failed record, Musk says he's some kind of victim.
You've talked about $4 billion a day being saved. If you add that up, it's not going to get to 2 trillion over the lifetime of Doge.
I'm sorry. I feel you're somewhat trapped in the NPC dialogue tree of a traditional journalist. We do not make the laws, nor do we control the judiciary, nor do we control the executive branch. Doge is an advisory group. We are doing the best we can as an advisory group.
His best that he can is a matter of, I guess, debate or opinion. But the other claims there were false. Fact check, false. They do write the laws. They control the Republican House and Senate, which has proved very pliant for President Trump. If they wanted to do the harder, longer work of writing laws to change funding in the future, they could have done that. Might take more than the 130 days he was allotted, but again, we're getting into the competence zone and whether they really wanted to do the hard, longer work. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are facing setbacks from some of the cuts they did rush.
Worried about the power that Elon Musk has been given without any kind of election.
My concern right now, and I think I speak for a lot of Americans, is Elon Musk. Yes.
Elon Musk pushed. The people pushed back, and now he's out.
Ari Melber is serving up a scathing post-mortem on Elon Musk's much-hyped and now spectacularly failed tenure as a special government employee in the Trump administration. Musk came in like a wrecking ball, promising a revolution and to save trillions. He's leaving with a whimper of a tweet. Melber meticulously unpacks the lies, the incompetence, and the sheer audacity of Musk's brief, chaotic, and ultimately self-destructive foray into Washington. Let's get into it. Melber kicks off by framing Musk's departure perfectly. Musk came in with a chainsaw and went out with a tweet. The contrast between the bombastic entrance and the meek exit sets the tone for a takedown of Musk's entire government charade. He immediately highlights the 130-day limit Musk was operating under, a detail long been tracking, suggesting this exit wasn't entirely Musk's dignified choice. Politico, a non-partisan publication, was already knocking him from the beginning. Musk sowed much confusion, and his so-called efficiency group was not efficient, even in the way it made cuts. It has been quite a trip, Melber deadpans. The montage of Musk's own words is a masterstroke of exposing his hubris and subsequent hypocrisy. Most transformative presidency since the founding a revolution. Chainsaw for bureaucracy. Melber later uses this to great effect. We can do at least $2 trillion, $1 trillion in savings. Savings, $150 billion, a massive downgrade from trillions. I haven't asked the president for anything ever. I'll recuse myself. Melber immediately calls this out. Many false claims there. He did not recuse. They even tried to hawk Teslas at the White House while Tesla's stock crashed. Musk's tech bro mantra of disruption and regulations basically should be default gone is shown to be dangerously naive in a government context. Missing a mark on a regulation doesn't work well if you get a financial crisis or deadly emergencies, Melber rightly points out. The type of cutting he was doing didn't work. He was blocked in court for exceeding authority, and his actions became very unpopular. Even MAGA Republicans faced protests because of Musk's leadership style. The personal and corporate fallout was immense. Tesla's brand toxified. Musk's unpopular politics hit Tesla hard. SpaceX problems and distraction. Questions arose about his part-time government job, distracting him from his actual CEO duties. Self-dealing allegations. Efforts to leverage power to make money. Net worth plummet. Despite the inside track, Musk's net worth dropped by a staggering 50+ billion since the inauguration alone. The ultimate irony for a man obsessed with wealth. Melber highlights Musk's victim complex in the face of this provable record of failure. The clip of Musk deflecting blame. We do not make the laws, nor do we control the judiciary, nor do we control the executive branch. Doge is an advisory group, is juxtaposed with Melber's sharp fact check. False. They do write the laws. They control the Republican House and Senate. If they wanted to do the harder, longer work of legislative change, they could have. This exposes Musk's claims as a pathetic attempt to shirk responsibility. The segment concludes with the voice of the people. My concern right now is Elon Musk, followed by the simple, powerful statement, Elon Musk pushed. The people pushed back. Melber drives the nail in the coffin. And now he's out. This isn't just a resignation, it's a public rejection, fueled by incompetence and arrogance. With Musk officially out, Ari Melber brings in Jay Day himself, Jay Kuo, to dissect why this billionaire supernova fizzled out so spectacularly. Kuo has a theory, and it's a brutal one. Musk served his purpose for Trump, and then became utterly disposable. Let's hear Kuo explain why money can't buy you Trump's or anyone's respect.
That brings us to a special day around here on the beat. It is time for Jay Day. You know the man, you see the cartoon, you see the embattled flags of some of our nation's universities that you've attended. Welcome back,
Right.
Jay Komanduri.
Thank you for having me, Ari.
Having you on Jay Day is fitting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's named after me, what other Che could there possibly be that you could have on Che Day?
I mean, I happen to know that sometimes people call you Chai. If it were a lighter news day, maybe we could just have a chai latte there. But it's not the same, Che. Thanks for being here. I meant what I said in our setup. It's quite remarkable that Musk is out this quickly. He has been bemoaning his setbacks or failures in public, which means he's not spinning them as wins. You have a theory about this, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, money can't buy you love, as the Beatles said. Money also can't buy you the respect of voters. It can't buy you the respect of MAGA. And it appears at this point not to be able to buy you the respect of Donald Trump. I mean, it's very interesting that this has all happened over the course of 3 months. Over those months, we have seen Musk lose billions, and we have seen Donald Trump gain billions. So his utility has declined for Donald Trump. Donald Trump now feels probably he doesn't need Musk's money anymore. And Musk believed he was invincible. You know, he's turned out he was disposable. And his usefulness to Trump is no longer the case, and he has been shown the door.
You know, sometimes we talk about this, and in my notes here, I know that one other point you raised was that you're arguing today that Musk basically served his purpose, and whatever claims they were about helping the budget or the government, he's a smart guy who thought he could excel in this universe. But you argue that Trump used him, benefited from the Twitter purchase during the campaign, benefited by being a heat shield in the last few months, and Musk ends up the loser in the equation. Explain.
Yeah, I mean, to paraphrase Donald Trump, Musk thought it was going to be so easy, that he was the world's richest man. He had gone from success to success. Obviously, he'd be able to do this. He'd be able to take over the government. He'd be able to do what he wanted. And it would just be so easy. After all, he was a real billionaire, and Donald Trump merely played one on television. The problem for Musk is that Trump's skill set has proven more useful than Musk's skill set. Trump is a very good TV talker. Musk is not. Musk has absolutely no charisma. And one other thing was that Democrats went early and pounced on Musk. You saw it with the Fighting Oligarchy tour that AOC and Bernie did. It's very similar to what Jonathan Chait talked about with Biff Tannen, where you punch the bully in the mouth and the bully collapses and falls. That's exactly what happened this time.
Yeah, and I'm curious how that connects to the pushback, because on the one hand, there's skepticism of the what we might call traditional Democratic or liberal frame of get out there and fight and get organized, and it matters. We talk to a lot of people around here, and there are people who feel disillusioned with that for reasons I think everyone knows. And yet, some of what looked organic, we heard from someone who organized a Tesla protest, and they said they put it up online. They'd never done a protest before. They went in Michigan, which is the swing state that went Trump. And then they said to their shock, over 100 people there. And then that pattern repeated. And so the direct action on this specific thing, did it work?
Yeah, I think it worked very well. You know, there's a famous Woody Allen line, 80% of life is just showing up. You know, the people who protested Musk showed up. And that actually really ended up making a difference. It really helped shape the narrative about Elon Musk. You know, I mean, I know we compared him to Tony Stark. Before I compared him to Lex Luthor. We should remember in Superman comics, Lex Luthor always loses. What Musk is now is much closer to Thurston Howell III, the millionaire on Gilligan's Island, where he's got all that money and it's of absolutely no use to him. You know, everything that he has, everything he's earned, none of it seems to matter in this arena that he thought he would conquer so easily.
Jay Kuo, with his characteristic wit, cuts straight to the chase. Money can't buy you love. Money also can't buy you the respect of voters, MAGA, or Donald Trump. He paints a picture of Musk's utility declining as Trump's own, perceived, financial standing improved. Donald Trump now feels probably he doesn't need Musk's money anymore. Musk believed he was invincible. He turned out to be disposable. His usefulness to Trump evaporated, and he has been shown the door. This is a cold, transactional view of the Trump-Musk alliance, and it rings true. Melber then prompts Kuo on his argument that Musk basically served his purpose. Kuo explains Musk's fatal flaw. He thought his business success and immense wealth would translate to political dominance. He'd be able to take over the government. It would just be so easy. After all, he was a real billionaire and Donald Trump merely played one on television. The delicious irony. But, Kuo argues, Trump's skill set has proven more useful than Musk's skill set. Trump is a very good TV talker. Musk is not. Musk has absolutely no charisma. This is a critical point. In the performative world of Trumpian politics, media savvy trumps actual business acumen. Kuo also credits Democrats for going early and pounced on Musk, citing AOC and Bernie's fighting oligarchy tour. He compares it to Jonathan Chait's Biff Tannen theory. You punch the bully in the mouth and the bully collapses. That, Kuo asserts, is exactly what happened this time. Musk, despite his bluster, couldn't withstand sustained, direct political pressure. Melber then probes the effectiveness of direct action, citing an organizer of a surprisingly successful anti-Tesla protest in Michigan. Kuo affirms its impact. 80% of life is just showing up. The protests really help shape the narrative about Elon Musk. He then delivers another brilliant, deflating comparison. Musk isn't Tony Stark or even Lex Luthor, who always loses. No, Musk is now much closer to Thurston Howell III, the millionaire on Gilligan's Island, where he's got all that money and it's of absolutely no use to him. All his wealth and past successes seem to matter not at all in this arena that he thought he would conquer so easily. Kuo's analysis is a masterclass in deflating a billionaire's ego. He portrays Musk not as a strategic genius or a political force, but as a naive, uncharismatic, and ultimately outplayed pawn in Trump's game, easily dispatched once his perceived utility ran out and effectively neutralized by focused democratic pushback and organic public protest. Elon Musk's revolution ended not with a bang, but with Ari Melber and Jay Kuo delivering a brutal eulogy on his political corpse. Officially out, Musk's tenure was a masterclass in failure, bogus cuts, tanking companies, and epic self-humiliation. He wasn't a chainsaw, he was Thurston Howell III, a disposable billionaire outplayed by a reality TV conman. The lesson for fighting Trump 2.0, even invincible bullies can be toppled. What's your take on Musk's spectacular flameout and Kuo's theory of his disposability? Did Trump use him and toss him aside? Can showing up actually beat billionaire bullies? Unleash your uncensored thoughts in the comments below. And if you're here for more fearless, no-holds-barred takedowns of the rich and powerful, smash that subscribe button for the Miles Vexler podcast and hit the notification bell. We're not done exposing these clowns.